Hey guys, this is Scott Johnston, producer for the Prepped and Polished podcast. I just wanted to take a few minutes and wish all of you a healthy and happy new year, and thank you for listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast last year. Also, wanted to let you guys know that you can vote for Prepped and Polished as part of a contest with Boston Magazine. They're looking for the best of Boston. All of the information is in the show notes, so if you would be willing to support Prepped and Polished in that contest, we would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Prepped and Polished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to take control of your education, featuring weekly interviews with influencers in the world of education, as well as tutoring tips, lessons, and updates. And now, here's your host, Alexis Avila.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Tutoring Tips episode of the Prepped and Polished podcast. It's Alexis Avila of Prepped and Polished. Make sure to check out our website, preppedandpolished.com, for more info. And while you're there, you can sign up for our free tutoring tips newsletter. It comes out monthly. And you can join our Prepped and Polished community on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Prepped and Polished. Got a question during or after the show? Just email us at radio@preppedandpolished.com. We love hearing from you. And let's get right to our episode. This is episode 149, 5 Tips for 11th Grade Success. So they say that, junior year, 11th grade, is the most important year of your high school career. And I agree with that. So it's a time that you can position yourself as a great candidate for colleges. And you want to do these 5 things. So here are my 5 tips. Tip 1 out of my 5 is junior year, 11th grade is the time for you to look at your college portfolio and see where your holes are up to this point, and then fill in those holes. So, do you need more extracurricular activities, a volunteer experience? Those are the kinds of things. Do you need to, make sure that you turn your grades around? So, you can't really afford to fill in those holes senior year. It might be too late, so that's what you have to do junior year. Look at your portfolio and see where your holes are up to that point. Step 2 out of 5 is you want to really start thinking about the types of colleges you might be interested in junior year. Are you interested in big schools? Like myself, I went to a big school. It worked out for me. Or do you want to go to a small school? Do you want to live close to home? Are you on a budget? This is the time that you want to make your initial list. And, it's okay to come out and brainstorm a list of like 20, 30 schools to start. And then eventually that list will trickle down and come up with like a solid 8 to 10 schools. Step 3 of junior year is you want to take the SAT or ACT or both probably twice spring of junior year. And ideally, if you can get your SAT out of the way junior year, then that will free up your time potentially fall of senior year, because you're going to have a lot going on senior year. So if you can try to take the SAT once and do a retake late spring, then I think you'll be in pretty good shape. Step 4 out of 5 is you want to do well in your junior year courses, because the junior year grades really count for college admissions officers. They really look at the junior year. And also you want to if you get good grades junior year, you can get invited into rigorous and challenging AP and honors courses come senior year. So you really want to study and make sure that you get your GPA up there. Finally, tip 5 for junior year 11th grade success is to visit colleges. And do it ideally, you could do it spring break junior year, because you're just going to have time, doing nothing. So might as well take advantage and visit some of these colleges that you're interested in. And if you can, though, if you want to really get an early start to it, you can certainly visit colleges before your junior year begins, so that end of the summer. So those are my 5 tips for junior year success. We'll just do a really quick recap. One is you want to look at your college to be portfolio. See where the holes are. Step 2, you want to start thinking about the colleges you're interested in, and trickle down that and narrow down that list to about 8 to 12 schools. Step 3 is you want to take the SAT, ACT, or both twice spring of junior year. Step 4, do well junior year and get good grades. Step 5 is you want to visit colleges spring break or at the end of the summer going into junior year. So, if you have any questions during or after this episode, you can email us at radio@preppedandpolished.com. And this wraps up our show today, episode 149, 5 Tips for 11th Grade Success. Be on the lookout for our next podcast, episode number 150, my interview with Jessica Yeager. She got into Harvard, including 5 other Ivy League schools. If you want to access all of our podcast episodes, go to preppedandpolished.com/podcast. And thanks for joining us today on the Prepped and Polished podcast. Now go out there and take control of your education.
You've been listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast. For more information, check out preppedandpolished.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.